Hello everybody, thank you so much for tuning into Carol's Daily Sauce. Once again, I'm doing an audio recording. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but California is hot right now, literally 90 degrees in May. Yes, towards the end of May. It is usual, it's normal. This is not out of the normal. I mean, if we had 40 and 50 degree weather, we would kind of have raised eyebrows. So it's very, very normal. But the reason that I am doing an audio is because I am not appropriately dressed to be in front of a camera. Not that I owe anybody an explanation, but just in case we have some people that technically want to be butt heads, and we always get one or two who loves to come, you know, not necessarily just to my channel, but to several different channels and state their claim as to what it is we should be doing with our channel. So once again, thank you for tuning in to Carol's Daily Sauce. This is a video that I have been contemplating on when or whether I was going to post it, but I think it is imperative that I post this video. For one, it's transparency, but also in addition to my transparency, I believe it's something that a lot of people, including stars, you know, those in Hollywood, are going through. So basically what I'm talking about today is anxiety and quarantine. Okay, so if you know anything about anxiety, anxiety is, I'm going to say, quote unquote, a mental condition. Because anything that affects our brain, anything that affects our brain in a negative sense, such as fear, heart palpitations, the fear of doom, those types of things, that does not mean you're crazy. It just means that you are probably dealing with anxiety. To be frankly honest with you, 1 in 5 people, 1 out of every 5 people, if not more, suffers with anxiety and or depression. I am not a doctor. I have not went to school to be a doctor. I'm not a psychologist, none of that. But I read everything and I speak on things that I read, but I definitely can speak on something that I too experience. That being said, during this moment or this time, because we have actually been into this for months, have suffered and dealt with issues of anxiety well before the quarantine even came into effect. Not because of the illness or the sickness or anything of that nature, but just life in general has thrown me into the quarantine cesspool, or the anxiety cesspool, I guess I should say. So basically, what happens when one is dealing with anxiety is, as I said, they have heart palpitations, they break out in sweat. Some of the outbreaks can be hot flashes. You have difficulty sleeping and concentrating. Your problems that you have, or illnesses that you have, chronic illnesses that you may have, are heightened as far as the symptoms of them. If you have any type of mental conditions, schizophrenia, depression, whatever. See, a lot of times people think that when folks are depressed or they deal with anxiety, y'all, it's so hot. I literally have a fan, but I'm burning. I'm using a fan fanning myself. So if you guys hear that, I do apologize. I am hot. It's so hot. But basically, a lot of people have a tendency to think that when a person has anxiety or depression, that it's a mental illness. It falls along the realm of a mental illness because it does affect the brain. However, it is not a mental illness in the sense of being or having schizophrenia or having chronic depression. I mean, you guys, there are some people who have depression so bad they contemplate suicide. I mean, you guys know that. Oh my God, y'all know what? Ooh, I'm gonna have to cut that out. But I just wanted to talk about this. So there are a lot of things that can happen with anxiety, changes in your eating patterns. And some people, unfortunately, if you are a smoker of cigarettes or whatever else, you will see an increase in that. If you're an alcohol drinker, you will see an increase in that. And some people, unfortunately, will fall into the realm of actually dibbling and dabbling in other drugs. Some people just cannot deal with or cope with stress. They can't. And if you really, really think about it, being quarantined, it's so much out of the ordinary. It's so unreal. This is the most unreal thing that I've ever seen in my life. I was on a prayer call yesterday at my church, and there was a young lady from Texas who was actually speaking, and she was speaking about how a lot of people during this time have gotten into disagreements with their significant others and their family members and things that live in the household. And that can come into fruition because of the very fact that you are in close quarters with people and you can't go out. Now, I am one personally, and I'm only speaking for me personally, and I'm quite sure a lot of people are, we are from the land of the free. We are from the United States. And in the United States, you pretty much can go and come as you please if you're not under house arrest, if you're not in jail or in prison or on some sort of lockdown. This is literally the first time that I can remember in the 53 years of my life that I've actually been on a lockdown. So what the young lady was saying on the call was the mask that we wear, literally, she believes, as well as a lot of other people in Texas and all across the world believes, this is the new normal. They believe that we won't know when the virus ends. We won't know when it's completely gone out of the air. We won't know anything because we don't even know where it comes from. I mean, some people say China, some people say, what is it, Australia? We don't know. No one really knows. I mean, if you really knew where it came from, you go there and quarantine them and give them all type of antibodies and things of that nature to clear it up out of their system. This situation has literally taken over the world. It really has. And we're not in a good place. So I read this morning too that Mr. Trump was saying that he was going to close down social media networks. He was going to close down the social media networks because someone had went on Twitter and possibly said something that he felt offensive. You know, if y'all vote for this president, so I'm kind of going off track. If y'all vote for this president again, y'all are crazy. I know a lot of people were saying, well, the Lord allowed him, and at first I was saying the same thing. The Lord allowed him to do, you know, what he's doing. And I believe that. I believe that God is in full and complete control of everything. The only thing that Donald Trump literally has done, is basically two things. Stimulus checks and the extra $600 checks that he has given for people who are on unemployment. Other than that, he has been none other than a big blob waste of time. And part of the reason for my dealing with my anxiety. So let me just explain to you guys some of the types of things that I get when I'm going through it. There are situations and circumstances, and this is prior to quarantine, where I could be literally sitting at my house, looking at TV, scrolling on my phone, and I get this instant feeling of doom. Instant feeling that somebody died, an instant feeling that somebody is gravely ill, an instant feeling that something is going on with all of my children or one or two of my children or my grandbabies. That in and of itself is anxiety. And what ends up happening when that comes upon me is I break out in a sweat, I get a very upset stomach, I have heart palpitations. All of it is not normal. Now, if you are like me, a Christian, that is the enemy. I call the devil the enemy's way of trying to attack us. Okay. Now, I thought that I had been delivered from depression and anxiety, but I will tell you guys, it continues to creep up on me. See, this is the thing about it. I'm very transparent and I'm very real, okay? I speak things and speak my truth because I want to be open with you guys. I mean, I think that here on YouTube, we can be open with our subscribers and with people who view, and even with those who deem themselves as haters and say really crazy. Y'all, some of the stuff that people say in comments, I don't know where they come from. I mean, literally, I don't know where they come from. I just don't understand. I don't understand. But we all of us go through things. So I just wanted to say this. Everybody handles everything. Stressful situations, quarantine, everybody handles it differently. I mean, the fact that you couldn't go to work, because I know a lot of people have been able to go back to work, but a lot of people were working in their home. A lot of people are still working in their home and trying to make ends meet and trying to be focused and trying to have a clear mindset. I'm always at home. I stay at home wife. So quarantine is not so off the Richter for me. What's off the Richter for me, to be frankly honest with you, is the very fact that I have to, in 90-degree weather, have to go out of my house just to pick up something from the store, and I have to deal with people who are crazy. Because what I found is, in the beginning of this, people were really nice. They were wanting to help one another. Now, when you're standing on the line or something and somebody says something to you, or you say something, you know, matter-of-factly to somebody about something that you've seen, I've seen some of the craziest stuff, specifically in Walmart. People will look at you and roll their eyes. They're like, you know what? You will not spit none of that stuff on me. You will not cough on me. You will, even though you have on a mask. So I don't know. I just, it's really a sad situation. And I personally think, I still think this, I've said this in the past, I believe that quarantine was necessary, but I believe it also is a way in which to control. But I also believe that God ordained it, because God can stop anything. Now, this is not a video about preaching. It's not a video about whether or not you believe in God. Whatever you believe is your right. I'm not forcing anything on you. I'm just speaking, because this is Carol's Daily Sauce. Remember what it is I think, how I feel. Feel free to put whatever you choose in the comments, but I do have to put this disclaimer, as I always do. You can come here. The door is always open. Put your feet up, have your glass of wine, have your glass of coffee, glass of tea, glass of water, bottle of water, whatever it is that you feel that you need to do to put yourself in a comfortable place. But what you won't do is come here and disrespect. And I will tell you, I don't do pit for pat. I don't do tit for tat. I don't do none of that. You come here disrespecting, you leave here permanently. You won't be able to do it again. And every time I tell people that, oh, don't nobody care about this dry channel, but you was on the dry channel listening to the content or looking at the content. So consider who's dry. Really, really, really consider who's dry. And if not so much dry, consider who possibly has some sort of mental situation going on. So anyway, you guys, everybody reacts differently to stressful situations, quote unquote quarantine, quote unquote being laid off, possibly having less contact with people. I mean, we have ordered pizza. And honey, trust me, when we order our pizza, Chinese food, whatever we order, we lay our hands on it in the name of Jesus and just believe in God that it will be healthy. Because guess what? When you go out to the stores, when you order online, you still are risking your life. You know, a lot of people have taken on to literally starting gardens, which is genius. I mean, man, y'all are smart. My daughter being one, my daughter has taken on planting a garden and has yielded some nice red potatoes I seen on yesterday. I was pretty proud of her. Almost felt like a grandparent of potatoes because it was success for my daughter. And I love my children and grandchildren. And so when they have success, I take pride in that success as well. So that's a good thing, to start a garden, specifically if you're kind of fearful. I do not live in fear. I know that this is going to pass. Do I think that wearing masks is the new normal? It is the new normal now. It's going to be the new normal for a little while. I don't believe that we will be unmasked until well after December. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Because if you really look at it, all the authorities, all of the politicians, all of them who suggested that we wear the mask, keep 6 feet social distancing, don't do this and don't do that, all of them, or I shouldn't say all of them, but the vast majority of them have come down with the virus. So it's something really, really to think about. Now I want to tell you guys a really, really quick story about a pastor in a local city, Oakland, California. And the pastor was having services and continued to have services. However, when he, as well as everybody else, was instructed to shut down, he did. But he had visited New Orleans, Louisiana. And he went and he returned home. And when he returned home, I believe it was 3 days after he returned home, I believe he probably went to Mardi Gras. He was very ill. To make a long story short, this pastor contracted COVID-19 as a result of being around all those people. As you guys know, Louisiana had a big, huge outbreak of it. And he ended up contracting the virus. He actually was in a induced coma for a week. That man, a pastor, a man of God, said that the pain of just simply breathing, the pain of rolling your eyes around, moving your eyes was so bad. The pastor contemplated suicide. So that lets you know how serious this really, really is. So what we want to do during this time is we want to take some precautions, I guess we could say. We want to take some precautions. If you notice that you're having changes in your sleep pattern, if you're having difficulties sleeping or concentrating, dear God, I have that anyway because I suffer with fibromyalgia, but I knew when there was a difference. Not only do I suffer with fibromyalgia, but I suffer with fibromyalgia, which affects your breathing and concentrating anyway. Hence one of the reasons my thoughts are all over the place, foggy brain. But I tend to think that I'm pretty smart. I'm not a dummy. But if you find yourself worsening, if you're having worsening health or mental health conditions, if you're having problems that are preventing you from sleeping the way that you should, if you're having heart palpitations that are literally making you lightheaded or causing you to have difficulty breathing, this is the time that you need to make an appointment with your physician to possibly get put on some medication just so that you will be leveled, just so that this quarantine won't have you going bonkers, because literally, y'all, it can. So in the city and state that I live in, it's so crazy. We have beautiful, beautiful parks. We have beautiful not waterfalls, but we have like streams of water. You know, California is beautiful. Do y'all know that on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, those particular areas are still closed? Now, they were open this last weekend for the holiday, but they're actually closed right now because they know that should they open them, we will be bombarded with a lot of people coming to the parks and things. My thing is this. My husband and I went to Berkeley, California this past weekend. and we walked a very beautiful, serene strip. There were birds chirping, there were snakes crawling, and I nearby lost my mind. I thought I was going to have an attack when I seen that snake. It just so happened I seen these holes in the ground, and I was like, wait a minute. So the first thing I seen was a queen bee come out, and I was like, okay, this ain't the place to take the picture. So I moved out of the way. And then we were walking. We were walking down a little path, a little walkway. And y'all, out of every and any situation that could happen, I am gravely, y'all hear me? Gravely afraid of snakes. I have a phobia of them. I've had this phobia since I was 6 years old. And I believe it comes from a little boy in show and tell, bringing a rubber snake and just having me hinged up to a wall during recess, you know, at me with this rubber snake. And ever since then, I have never, ever been the same. But to make a long story short, the snake want to come from out of the water, okay, by me. And I'm like, whoa, Nelly, back up. And I screamed and jumped on the other side. And my husband had the audacity to tell me I didn't see a snake. How about I didn't sleep that night because I was dealing with the phobias all night. So anxiety is real, you guys. So in closing, I want to say this. Every stressful situation reacts differently in each and every person. Whatever the case may be, for you individually, for your loved ones, make sure that you take care of yourself, that you take care of your loved ones, and that you take care of your friends and your family, and that you guys work together to cope with the stress of this situation. When we help others to cope with the stress, we can make our lives and literally, you guys, our community stronger and better. This situation that we are in right now is one where we just have to. We have to all work together. We can't have people on the left and people on the right that are disagreeing. Like, for instance, I'm going to wear a mask on the right-hand side. The left-hand side say, nope. We got people like that. They need to mandate it. It is actually mandated here in the state of California. When you go into stores, you can't go into a store without a mask right now. You will get kicked out. They won't even let you in the door, actually. And if they should see you in the store without the mask on your face, they will ask you to either put the mask on your face or leave, which is good. I don't know why we have to have rebels during quarantine. It's not worth it. Do what it is that you need to do so that we can get back onto the road of recovery. Some other ways of definitely dealing with the stress associated with quarantine are taking deep breaths, stretching, or meditating. Now, I don't know about the meditating thing. I don't do that. However, I have started every morning when I wake up to just breathe in and breathe out and stretch my body, you know, eating healthy, balanced meals. What I have started to do in the beginning of quarantine, y'all, I think me as well as everybody else was eating everything that we could get our hands on. And there were memes all out. I know you guys seen that Mona Lisa meme, you know, where you went into quarantine and you was looking real good. And then a couple of weeks into quarantine, you was looking a little haggard. By the time you got into the third week of quarantine, you was big. And by the time quarantine is going to be over, you just going to be straight up obese and out of full control. We need to try to eat healthier meals and healthier, well-balanced meals. What I have done because of what I did in the beginning of quarantine and eating so much junk is I've started detoxing. And one of the detoxes that I've actually done was a green tea detox. I'm kind of leery when it comes to detox because my tummy is a little sensitive and I don't like the gripe, but I have been doing a couple of detoxes and they have been working very, very good. One of them being ISO tea. If you guys are interested in purchasing any type of TLC, Total Life Changes products, please see Miss T. Lou on Instagram. Miss T. Lou is amazing. She can answer any question for you. I will just tell you guys, I am a living witness that the raspberry lemonade detox, it's a CBD tea, is excellent. I have been snoring in my sleep, getting good rest, and my body feels amazing. So check out Miss Tilu on Instagram if you are looking for natural detox products. Another thing, exercise regularly and get plenty of sleep, because when you don't get sleep, you're not going to be focused. You're not going to be focused. I'm sorry, you guys, this video is so long. I hate when my videos go over 15 minutes. But another thing, exercise regularly. The exercising regularly thing, I can't do. I get too sore with fibromyalgia. So if you can't exercise, just plan to stretch. And last but definitely not least, avoid alcohol and drugs, because they only complicate your situation further. Take time to unwind, do some things and activities around the house that you enjoy, connect with those that you love, and talk to people that you trust about your concerns and about how you're feeling. Because the most important thing about anxiety and depression is making sure that you're getting it out, not keeping it within, but getting it out so that others will know how it is that you feel and how it is that you're dealing with quarantine and anxiety. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell so that you look at your beautiful self. Look at you. You that are listening to this audio will be notified of each and every video and audio that I upload. I absolutely enjoy doing it, especially when I have the strength to do it. I hope that this video has been informative. If there are any suggestions that you have, if there are any questions that you have, if I am able to answer them, I most definitely will do so for you. Thank you guys. God bless you. Be strengthened and be encouraged. Bye-bye.